The Pareto Principle. Welcome to the Pareto Principle, mastering the 80-20 rule for maximum efficiency and impact. This course explores a timeless principle rooted in observation and analysis, that roughly 80% of outcomes come from 20% of causes. Known as the 80-20 rule, the Pareto Principle offers a powerful lens for optimizing performance, streamlining priorities, and focusing your energy where it truly counts. Whether in engineering, project management, or team leadership, mastering this rule enables smarter decisions and more impactful actions. Imagine identifying the small percentage of tasks, clients, or processes that drive the majority of your results. That's what this course will help you do. The accompanying chart visualizes this concept. A small group of high-impact causes on the left drives a large share of results on the right. Through this training, you'll learn how to apply the 80-20 lens to productivity, time management, decision-making, and team outcomes, so you can work not just harder, but smarter. Table of contents. Here's an overview of what we'll cover in this course on the Pareto Principle. We begin with a broad introduction in Section 1 and then define the principle itself in Section 2. Section 3 provides historical context, tracing the origin of the 80-20 rule to economist Vilfredo Pareto. In Section 4, we dive into the key concepts that make the rule so powerful. Section 5 explores why this principle is relevant in today's fast-paced, data-driven world. From Section 6 through 10, we explore practical applications, time management, sales, manufacturing, customer service, and project management. Section 11 focuses on Pareto analysis, a method that helps prioritize actions based on high-impact issues. Section 12 highlights the benefits of adopting this mindset, while Section 13 addresses common misconceptions. Section 14 zooms in on semiconductor manufacturing to show the rule in action, and we wrap up with actionable insights in Section 15. To practice what we preach, focus on Sections 4, 6, 11, and 15 for the highest impact, your own 20% that drives 80% of the value. Introduction to the Pareto Principle. Across business, economics, engineering, and even personal productivity, one pattern consistently appears. A small percentage of inputs often creates a large percentage of outputs. This phenomenon is formalized as the Pareto Principle, also known as the 80-20 rule. The core insight is that identifying and focusing on the vital few contributors, typically around 20%, can unlock around 80% of the desired results. Whether you're optimizing a manufacturing process, debugging code, or managing your time, this principle helps prioritize the highest value actions. In this course, you'll gain an in-depth understanding of how the Pareto Principle originated, how it works, and how to apply it to maximize effectiveness. With the right strategy, engineering professionals and scientists can reduce complexity, increase output, and achieve greater impact by focusing their energy where it counts most. Welcome to your guide on mastering the 80-20 rule. What is the Pareto Principle? The Pareto Principle states that roughly 80% of outcomes come from 20% of causes. It's not a rigid formula, but a heuristic, a guideline that highlights the unequal distribution of effort and results. For example, in business, 80% of sales often come from just 20% of clients. In quality assurance, 80% of complaints stem from 20% of recurring issues. In software development, 80% of bugs may be traced to just 20% of the code base. And in personal productivity, 80% of meaningful progress may result from 20% of tasks. The ratio may vary, sometimes it's 70-30 or 90-10, but the insight remains the same. A small number of factors exert a disproportionately large influence. Recognizing this pattern allows professionals to zero in on what matters most, eliminate distractions, and drive results more efficiently. Understanding the Pareto Principle is the first step toward applying it as a powerful tool for analysis and decision-making. Historical background. The origins of the Pareto Principle trace back to the late 19th century with Italian economist Vilfredo Pareto. He observed that approximately 80% of Italy's land was owned by just 20% of the population. This insight into wealth distribution laid the groundwork for what would become a broader concept. Fast forward to the mid-20th century, and quality management pioneer Joseph M. Juran expanded upon Pareto's findings. Juran coined the term the vital few and trivial many, applying the concept to quality control, production systems, and business strategy. His work helped bring the Pareto Principle into mainstream management thinking. Key milestones include Pareto's 1896 observation, Juran's discovery of Pareto's work in 1941, and its formal application to quality systems in the 1950s. Today, the principle is embedded in countless fields, from manufacturing to engineering to organizational leadership, serving as a universal guide for identifying what truly drives outcomes. Key concepts of the 80-20 rule. At its core, the 80-20 rule is about recognizing and harnessing unequal distributions. In any system, resources, effort, and results are rarely spread evenly. A minority of inputs, often just 20%, generate the majority of results. These are your high-leverage factors. Identifying these critical few allows for smarter resource allocation and sharper strategic focus. Concentrating effort on the most impactful tasks delivers better outcomes while minimizing wasted time and energy. This is not about doing less. It's about doing what matters most. The principle applies across domains, from optimizing scientific experiments to improving software reliability to increasing manufacturing yield. The power of focus lies in concentrating on high-value activities that drive progress. Think of it as getting 80% of results from just 20% of your actions. When individuals or teams consistently apply this mindset, they unlock exponential productivity gains by choosing their efforts with precision and purpose. Why the Pareto Principle matters. Applying the Pareto Principle creates a major advantage by helping professionals and teams focus on what truly drives results. First, it sharpens decision-making by identifying high-impact activities and eliminating distractions. You can stop reacting to noise and start concentrating on what matters. Second, it maximizes return on investment across time, effort, and capital, channeling energy into tasks that deliver exponential value. In operations, this means streamlining processes by addressing the most significant performance drivers. In quality control, it shifts the focus from symptoms to root causes, leading to sustainable improvements. Under pressure, the 80-20 lens supports better prioritization by spotlighting the areas that deserve immediate attention. Whether you're building new technology, managing a lab, or leading a team, leveraging this principle ensures your resources aren't just being used, they're being optimized. That's why the Pareto Principle is more than a theory. It's a game-changing framework for efficiency and effectiveness. Applications in time management. Time is one of the most finite and valuable resources. Applying the Pareto Principle to time management means identifying the few tasks that generate the greatest results. Start with a time log analysis. Track your activities over 1 to 2 weeks to discover where your time is really going. Next, assess each task based on its contribution to your core goals. This value assessment reveals which actions are productive and which are just busy work. Delegate or outsource the necessary but low-impact tasks so you can stay focused on what truly moves the needle. Practical tools, like the Eisenhower Matrix, can help prioritize tasks using the 80-20 lens, focusing on importance rather than urgency. Remember, not all hours are created equal. One focused hour on a high-leverage task can be more valuable than an entire day spent on low-priority work. By mastering Pareto-driven time management, you'll consistently get more done with less effort. Applications in sales and marketing. In sales and marketing, the 80-20 rule is particularly powerful. Typically, 80% of your revenue comes from just 20% of your customers. That insight allows you to make strategic decisions in several key areas. First, customer segmentation. Identify your top clients and prioritize them. Tailor your offerings and retention efforts toward these high-value customers. Second, targeted marketing. Focus your campaigns and messaging on the audience segments most likely to convert. This reduces waste and increases return on investment. Third, product development. Listen closely to the feedback of your top-tier clients and enhance the features they care most about. Often, 20% of your features deliver 80% of customer satisfaction. By aligning your efforts with these patterns, you not only grow revenue, but also build stronger, more loyal customer relationships. The Pareto Principle enables smarter decision-making across all facets of sales and marketing strategy. Applications in manufacturing and operations. In manufacturing and operations, the Pareto Principle guides continuous improvement by spotlighting the small number of factors that cause most inefficiencies. For example, 80% of downtime often stems from just 20% of equipment or process failures. Identifying these critical issues allows teams to reduce unplanned outages significantly. Similarly, in waste elimination, targeting the few key sources of scrap or inefficiency can yield major gains in material utilization and cost savings. The improvement cycle involves collecting defect data, building a Pareto chart to visualize problem frequency, and then focusing corrective actions on the most impactful issues. Repeating this cycle reinforces performance improvements. In real-world terms, companies have reported up to 50% more uptime, 70% fewer defects, and a 25% increase in throughput simply by focusing on the right bottlenecks. By applying Pareto thinking, engineers and technicians can drive higher quality, productivity, and cost-effectiveness. Applications in customer service. Customer service benefits tremendously from a Pareto-driven approach. Typically, 80% of complaints come from just 20% of recurring issues. Addressing those critical few problems first leads to a significant boost in customer satisfaction. Begin by resolving top complaints. This alone can eliminate a large portion of dissatisfaction. Then, enhance knowledge management by developing FAQs, help documentation, or self-service tools based on the most common customer concerns. Making answers easily accessible empowers users and reduces ticket volume. Finally, agent training becomes more effective when service teams are trained to handle the most frequent 20% of issues they'll face 80% of the time. This ensures faster resolutions and builds confidence. For complex or rare issues, specialized agents can step in. The result is a smarter, more scalable support system that's aligned with the real drivers of customer experience. By focusing on the few issues that matter most, service teams deliver more value with less effort. Applications in project management. In project management, the Pareto Principle can dramatically improve success rates by helping teams focus on the few elements that create most of the project's value. Start with task prioritization. Identify the 20% of tasks that will drive 80% of the project's progress. These high-leverage tasks should receive immediate and sustained attention. Next, optimize resource allocation. Instead of spreading team members thinly across all activities, assign your top talent and tools to the mission-critical tasks. Scope management also benefits. By applying 80-20 thinking, you can spot and eliminate scope creep, which often drains time and dilutes value. Focus on the few features or deliverables that matter most to stakeholders. Lastly, for risk management, direct your efforts toward the small number of risks that could cause the majority of project disruptions. This focused approach to managing uncertainty protects timelines and outcomes. The result: greater efficiency, clarity, and successful project delivery. The power of Pareto analysis. Pareto analysis is a practical decision-making tool that helps you identify the most significant problems or root causes behind a given effect. It works through a simple but powerful 5-step methodology. First, list all potential issues or contributing factors. You want a complete picture of what's going wrong. Second, measure the frequency or impact of each issue so you can quantify their influence. Third, sort the issues from highest to lowest impact, making it easier to see which few are driving the majority of the outcome. Fourth, visualize your findings using a Pareto chart, where bars show individual contributions and a line tracks cumulative impact. Finally, focus your action plan on the vital few, the small number of causes responsible for most of the results. This structured process is used in Six Sigma, lean manufacturing, and total quality management. It enables engineers and leaders to solve problems systematically and achieve lasting improvements. Benefits and limitations. The Pareto Principle offers several major benefits when applied strategically. It boosts efficiency by helping you save time, energy, and money. Instead of spreading yourself thin, you direct attention to what truly matters. It also brings clarity. You can see where your biggest wins or losses are coming from. This sharpens your focus, aligning daily tasks with larger strategic goals. Perhaps most importantly, it promotes root cause thinking, leading to more effective and sustainable problem solving. However, it's important to understand the limitations. The ratio isn't always 80-20. Sometimes it's 70-30 or 90-10, depending on context. Also, some low-impact tasks are still essential for compliance, ethics, or team morale. Over-focusing can cause you to miss emerging opportunities or hidden risks. Finally, the Pareto Principle is a tool, not a law. It should guide your thinking, not control it. Applied with judgment, it becomes a lens for leverage and long-term success. Real-world example: semiconductor manufacturing. Semiconductor manufacturing is a prime environment for applying the Pareto Principle. In these high-precision, high-cost environments, small problems often have outsized impacts. For example, about 80% of process variation might stem from just 20% of the equipment or tools used. Focusing on tuning and maintaining these specific tools can significantly improve consistency. Similarly, 80% of particle contamination could be traced back to only 20% of cleanroom violations, often simple behavioral issues. Targeting these behaviors through training and monitoring enhances product quality. When it comes to equipment reliability, 80% of downtime may be caused by 20% of the machines, such as vacuum pumps or thermal reactors. Addressing these key failure points improves uptime and reliability. By using Pareto analysis, semiconductor fabs have been able to increase yield, boost throughput, and reduce defect rates. In complex, high-tech environments, identifying the vital few can lead to transformative gains in efficiency and performance. Implementation strategies. To begin using the Pareto Principle, start by tracking your time or results. Systematic logging reveals where your effort is going and what results it's producing. Next, analyze trends. Look for patterns that show which tasks or inputs deliver the most consistent value. Then, rank your activities by impact, focusing on the few that offer the highest return. After identifying these vital few, apply focused action. Direct your time, energy, and resources toward them deliberately. But don't stop there. Reassess regularly. Systems evolve, and the 80-20 distribution can shift over time. A quarterly review ensures your strategy stays aligned with reality. Ultimately, the Pareto Principle is more than just a time management hack. It's a mindset of strategic prioritization. In a world of limited resources and constant demands, it allows you to focus on what matters most, eliminate distractions, and create outsized results. When you focus on the right 20%, you don't just work harder, you make a greater impact. 20% of causes, 80% of results. A striking truth runs through nearly every system. A small percentage of causes drive the majority of outcomes. This simple graphic, 20% of causes producing 80% of results, illustrates the core of the Pareto Principle. Whether you're analyzing process efficiency, project delays, customer feedback, or even your daily calendar, the pattern holds. This isn't about perfection, it's about precision. By applying this concept, professionals can turn insight into action. Rather than trying to optimize everything, focus on optimizing what truly moves the needle. For scientists, engineers, and technical professionals, That could mean isolating a handful of variables in an experiment, addressing specific failure modes in equipment, or focusing collaboration on key milestones. This principle isn't just a formula, it's a filter that helps you see the world more clearly and act more decisively. Mastering this ratio will help you build smarter systems, better products, and more impactful careers.